a gutter around the poultry house that you can put insecticide treated water, so that any insect or that wants to come into your farm will be trapped in that insecticide treated water and is eliminated. Now, what advantage and disadvantages does deep litter system have? The advantages: 1, it increases efficiency in poultry management, because you have control over the poultry. You control what they eat, what they drink, the medication. So it's a method in which you have maximum control. Then the next one, it maximizes the use of labor. Then it reduces the loss of eggs to snakes and ticks, because they are in a confined area. Before snakes or ticks will come to attack your farm, then there has to be a serious case. Then the birds are protected from harsh weather, harsh sunlight. They are prevented. Harsh wind or rainfall, it doesn't touch them. They are properly kept. Then it facilitates the management of a very large stock. Can house large stock of them, and you are sure you are not running at a loss. Then it facilitates the ease identification of sick birds. When they are there, you can easily, looking at them at the glass, maybe when you come to feed them or check on them, you discover that, oh, this one is behaving funny. Then you isolate it to treat it separately, or you call it, that is, you kill it, so that it doesn't transfer that same disease to other birds. Now, the disadvantages. First, cost of construction is very high compared to the extensive and the semi-intensive. Then there is wastage of feed by birds. Just give them the feed, you put enough for them, they can waste it, throw some down, play with it, not feeding on it. So wastage can occur. Then cannibalism and pecking on eggs are common. They can start perching on themselves, removing feathers, and then striking their beaks on the egg, so that you can have among them. Then the litter makes the eggs dirty. We say there will be litter on the ground, that is wood shaving, that will absorb droppings, so they can stain the eggs and make it dirty. Then in this case, it is difficult to detect unproductive eggs. Since they are together, you just come, you are packing eggs. You don't know which chicken laid which egg, so you cannot easily identify unproductive birds. Then the last disadvantage is that it requires a large quantity of litter, which adds to the cost of your production. Now, the battery cage. In this case, the birds are housed in individual cages, one by one. So they put their cages. So you put the birds in individual cages, each accommodating a limited number of birds, mostly 1 or 2. Just put them there. So it's like a self-contained for the birds, if you want to use that term. Then it is constructed to permit ventilation from all sides. The cages vary in their degree of automation. All operations may have to be performed manually, while they may also be automated. Can be an automated cage or manual cage. Then the poultry droppings fall into a pit and are cleaned off with a mechanical scraper. So this is kind of sophisticated than it's very sophisticated than the deep litter system. Then the battery cage system has proved to be the best in egg production, efficiency of food conversion, and reduction in mortality under skilled management. When properly managed, the battery cage system is the best. What advantages and disadvantages does the battery cage system have? First, it is labor saving. It's a labor saving system. Everything like automate, there is a degree of automation in it. Then the birds are directly within reach and view. So selection is easier during culling. Can easily, you have just 2 birds in the cage. So you can easily know, this one is sickly, let's remove it. Or this one is okay. So you can easily select. Then it saves space as the batteries are set up in tiers, that is, they are on top of each other. So like, as in we have a story building, so it saves space. You don't have to put it all around. They are on top of each other. Then it provides opportunity for close individual supervision. You can study each bird and know what is happening with them. Then fewer eggs with dirty shells, since there are no shavings or litter, so you have fewer dirty eggs or fewer eggs with dirty shells. Then you have less noisy poultry house, and the higher eggs than the body weight of birds. You have less noise, since they are not so much they don't have, like, just you treat young children, you know, when if you don't want them to make a whole lot of noise, you can just separate them, put them one in each room, or two, so the noise will be reduced. So the same thing for poultry birds, since they are not so much together, then the noise is reduced. Then you have higher eggs in this case, then the body weight of the birds too is higher compared to other systems. Then the disadvantages: first, expensive equipment, and the equipment, the battery system is expensive, then it deteriorates quickly. So that's a serious one. Then it is suitable for only one purpose. Then the complete feed for cage layers are expensive. The feed that you feed the layers that are in cage, they are expensive. Then more eggs are cracked by this method. You carry your eggs, discover that they are cracked, especially thin-shelled eggs. Then the birds may be bored, and battery cage fatigue can develop. May be boring to them. Staying there, day in, day out, day in, day out, in their small cage, over time may become boring to the birds. So those are the disadvantages of the battery cage system. Then we're talking about incubation. Incubation is the process of providing fertilized eggs with optimum conditions of temperature, relative humidity, and ventilation that is necessary for the development of the chicks and their successful hatching. So the condition, proper temperature, humidity, and ventilation that you provide for a fertilized egg, for it to be able to develop into a chick, or for it to be hatched into a chick, is called incubation. Then we have two types of incubation: the natural incubation, then the artificial incubation. Natural incubation is done by the hen itself after laying a particular number of eggs, say 15 eggs. Then the hen gets broody, that is, it stops laying the eggs, it lays them up to the number like 15 that I just mentioned. Then it stops laying the egg in order to incubate them. Then it sits on the eggs and provides all conditions of temperature, humidity, and ventilation required for the development of the eggs into chicks, so that it hatches in. Then on a regular basis, the bird, that is the mother hen now, turns the eggs regularly, so that it's not that one side is developed and the other is not developed, so it turns it regularly. Then this natural incubation practice is common in the villages where the chickens are raised extensively. They are on their own, so they search it out on their own. Then this method is not desirable in a commercial poultry production. It's not desirable when you have to produce large number of chicks. You want to make 1,000. How many they will now be staying there? No, it's not effective. Then the number of eggs that can be incubated by a hen at any particular time is very small. So that is why it is not desirable in commercial poultry production. Now, artificial incubation. Artificial incubation is designed to provide ideal conditions naturally provided by the hen. So the same things, the same conditions that the hen provides for the bird is what the artificial incubation does. Now, then it uses man-made devices called incubators to provide optimum necessary atmosphere for the development of the embryo into chicks. Then the incubator is the most important equipment in the hatchery. So that is artificial incubation. What advantages does artificial incubation have? First, hens do not have to stop their egg production since they are not the ones incubating it. Once the hen wants to incubate naturally, it has to stop egg production. But since they are incubating for the hen, so the hen can keep laying egg. So a large number of eggs are produced within a short period. That is an advantage of artificial incubation over the natural incubation. Then the second one is that large number of eggs are incubated and hatched at the same time. For instance, we have incubators with over 100,000 egg capacity, so you can put 100,000 eggs. Imagine how many chickens will you use to raise and over how many months will they do that. So an incubator that can incubate and hatch over 100,000 eggs at the same time. Now let's look at the incubation procedures. What procedures? How do we go about incubating our eggs? Before setting the eggs in the incubator, the eggs should be brought out from the cold room and left to attain room temperature in order to eliminate sweating. So you bring out the eggs from the cold room, then they are left to attain room temperature. Then the incubator must be cleaned and disinfected if started early enough to attain optimum temperature and relative humidity before you place your eggs in it. Then you arrange your eggs in the setting trays and place them in the incubator. What is the optimum incubation condition? What conditions should your eggs be subjected to under incubation? The temperature should be between 37 and 39 degrees Celsius. Then the relative humidity should be 50 to 60% during the first 19 days and about 75% during the last 2 to 3 days to prevent dehydrating the chicks in the hatcher. So 50 to 50% in the first 19 days, then 75% during the last 2 to 3 days to prevent dehydration of the chick.